The news and views expressed herein are the sole property of Kenosha Today. Certain portions of this program may be unsuitable for children, sensitive adults, small animals, and the general public. Viewer discretion is advised. Scott, I heard something on another show, and it says, we apologize in advance for anything we may say that will offend anybody in the audience. Okay, that's an extra disclaimer we're throwing in this week. So,
and there's a reason for that.
Right. Okay, here we go, kids. I think. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good morning, everybody. This is Uncle Scotty Barter along with Elmo the Insane Schneider, and welcome to the March 13th edition of the Kenosha Today Saturday Morning Breakfast Club. I apologize because we weren't here last week. I was under not the influence. I might have been the day before, but I had a reaction to my vaccine, and geez, I was tired and.
Was that the second shot?
The second shot, right.
So you got both rabies and distemper then, is that...
But they cleaned up the VD, so... Well, we're on a mission to broadcast in 2021. We're going to get to that in a minute. We are streaming live across the balmy cornfields of the Midwest.
It's quite pleasant out there today.
Oh, we had such a harsh February, and all of a sudden, just like that.
For mid-March?
Yeah. We are brought to you this morning by our major sponsors, Barter's Financial Planning Services, along with a host of other very fine local businesses. Well, we remain committed to the grade. We're going to get to that deal in a minute. And of course, we welcome your phone calls and comments to 262-597-3020. And if you want to watch a replay of this, just go to YouTube and type in Kenosha Today Breakfast Club. And, we got a bone to pick with those guys at YouTube, but I don't care. But, we were on there 2 weeks ago, and I got an email from... It was YouTube.
Well, it's YouTube. It's Google.
Yeah. And said
the internet overlords.
They took our show down at about 8:30 on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. They didn't give me a reason, but we were speculating. So I guess you have to be.
I think we had a caller that said something that was against their COVID rules. Okay. So
well, you know what? We're going to get into something here in a minute because it doesn't make a difference at this point in time. So everybody can sign up, but the thousands of our fans who have joined the Kenosha Today Nation and like us on Facebook. Again, our phone number 262-597-3020. It is 44 degrees here in the Kenosha Today Nation this morning. Stock market closed at 32.5, highest I think that I've ever seen it.
Well, they're pumping all this money into the economy needlessly, and where are people going to put it?
Well, you think, I don't know, I read someplace that very few people are going to take their $1,400 stimulus check and invest it in the market. However, I think that's it made the market go up, I think, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's also going to make inflation go up, so that's...
Well, they'll have to, one crisis at a time. First of all, I want to thank the K-Town Connection, right? That's the name of the show? Their show?
Yeah, K-Town Connects.
K-Town Connects with Donnie Stancato, and I forget the other fellows.
And Jason.
Yep. And so they have a podcast, and we went almost 2 hours, and I was really impressed with those guys.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and... Yep. I remember
it just went up yesterday on the K-Town Connects website. So ktownconnects.com. You can go there and listen to the podcast on there, and there's also on the Kenosha Today Facebook page. There's a link to it on there. So
we didn't take a whole lot of things serious, and the last question I asked before they signed us off was on a scale of 1 to 10. Where would you rank this show? And he says, somewhere below Lenny Palmer.
No, he said it's the second best show they ever did. Lenny was the best show they ever did. So
okay. Well, I guess, Emma, let's get to my big announcement that coming up on April 6th, or that's going to be the 10th.
25
years. And so I have decided to call it a day on local broadcasting. 25 years is 24 and a half longer than I ever thought I would be here. So I am going to...
You're going to run for mayor again?
Oh, I can just see those guys. The three-peat, right? I can just see the Kenosha News. Oh, now we can't refer to him as a two-time failed mayoral candidate.
He could be a three-time failed mayoral candidate.
Yeah, but I don't have any desire to do that. And I just, I've been thinking about this for some time, but I have nothing more to prove. 25 years, and we've had a lot of fun. And
I could, Scott, I told you I got to commend you. I could never last that long in something. I can maybe last that long doing something else. But
and you have. But if it's going to be open to the public, we're going to have it down on the deck at the boathouse. It's going to be a live stream, no phone calls, but we're going to do the same like this. And I've lined up at least 10 people that are going to join us. And
some Kenosha Today history, blast from the past. That's
what it's really been, a blast of the past. I talked to the Lonesome Dove, Pat Garrett. He's going to be there, and I think Jason Remkus might be there. We'll see
Spider Ron.
Spider Ron's going to be there.
Yep.
We've had a history. I think Ron has been there with me for. He was with the 7 years at the radio station, so he was there at least another 6 before that. So, what's that called?
No.
So anyway, that's the big news, and we're going to do the show next 3 weeks, and I think then the third one will be April 10th. And, there's a lot of things. I mean, I'm 71 that I want to do that I never could do before. Now I got to figure out what those might be. Whether I want to golf on Saturday mornings or if I just want to watch the grass grow. But anyway, so that's the name of that tune. If anybody has a question, or we'd encourage you to stop down. And
that's right.
And
a tasty beverage. And
I'm going to I'm going to buy some pizzas, and we're going to have a little reception afterwards. And I'm sure there'll be some libations available from 10 to at least 12. And if we go beyond that, we go beyond that. But, 25 years and 2 hours, it's kind of cutting it a little thin. So we'll go well beyond that.
But I shall continue on.
He's got his plans.
I'm going to take the summer off, and we're going to come up with a totally new concept to do for, I don't know if it'll be Kenosha Today or anything like that.
It can't be Kenosha Today, but it can be whatever else you want.
Kenosha Tomorrow.
And beyond.
I've already got the name locked up, so we're going to do that. So I told you I've been planning this for a while. So.
Yeah, Kenosha Today's copyrighted, so whatever else you want to do, go ahead.
Well, Kenosha Tomorrow, I have copyrighted. So.
Oh, okay. Well, some news to me.
I did that about 2 years ago because I figured you're going to be retiring at some point. But so I don't know what kind of show we're going to come up with. I got some feelers out there. I've talked to a couple people about, I don't know if it'll be in this format or do something. We may have monkeys juggling or something like that for a show, which is not much different than.
There's one thing I haven't done. I've done everything else.
But we'll see. Maybe sometime in September, it'll be out there. So.
Last September when I put my house up for sale, my basement was filled with all these costumes and props from over the years, and the red dress gone, the wig gone,
the rubber chicken
gone, the Barnack head, that's gone. Everything else that I had in there, that plaid sport coat that I got from Bjorn's 25 years ago, that gone, because I never thought I was going to come back here, but here I am, and now well, of course I couldn't have fit in. That was a size 16 dress, and
you got a little water weight going.
Yeah, I'm retaining a little water. Yeah, there you go. So, anyway, we'll talk a little bit about some of the local things going on. It's nice to see the boards coming down in the city, especially
pretty much
downtown.
all down. So.
And I think we've weathered that storm after the riots of last summer, and I hope we don't ever have to revisit that again because the downtown just.
Well, it was all people from out of town.
That's true, but they broke glass and they arrested some, and
they burnt buildings down.
Yeah. What was the one guy that was from Waukegan, and they arrested him for kicking in a door, and he says, "Heck, you shot a guy in the back for 7 times." And he didn't arrest that guy, but they arrested this guy for...
No, he was arrested. Jason Blake was arrested.
I thought they dropped those charges.
Well,
they dropped all those charges.
Yeah,
for resisting arrest and all that. They dropped
No,
it.
they punted on the whole thing. They figured, well, if the guy's stuck in a wheelchair, we're not going to send him to jail. So
Yeah.
that's jail enough for him.
Well, the reason the cops were there to begin with was
That's
because
it.
they had a
Serve
warrant
a
for his
warrant.
arrest.
Yep.
And I still maintain, had he just done what the police told him to do, we wouldn't have had that.
If you comply, you ain't gonna die.
There you go.
That's it right there. So.
I see in the paper today where the city of Minneapolis settled up with George Floyd for $27 million.
$1 million.
And here's how it was explained to me, going back to the Michael Bell case in '04. He got 1.7 from the insurance company. Had they gone to trial and the city lost, they would have had to ante up that money.
Mm-hmm.
But as it was, they settled out of court. The only thing the city had to ante up was the $200,000 deductible. But 1.7 versus 27 million, it's kind of a big stretch, but I don't know how they determine that. You know, and then now they're trying to do his trial, this police guy and police officer, and they keep piling on charges because I think if they added a third degree, there's less proof versus second degree versus first degree. Is that how that works?
Well, the radical attorney general in the state of Minnesota overcharged it, and they never. What it's looking like is they could have never got a first degree murder charge conviction at
We
all.
said that
So,
way back when.
that's right.
So they can't just replace it. They have to keep those and then just.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how the law works in Minnesota, but you can. The jury can come in with apparently they can come in with a different verdict.
They give them options, right?
They have options, right? So,
Well, I don't know how that's going to work, but if they, I think he's personally, he's going to maybe get manslaughter.
right.
That's-
Well, the other thing is once they got the toxicology reports, the guy was loaded with methamphetamine, and he was. They
Right.
said his there was no sign of asphyxiation. He probably died of heart failure from the drugs that were.
Well,
in his
that's going to
system.
be the key.
Not that the knee on his neck or whatever it was might not have contributed to that, but
You know, I'm surprised that the city of Minneapolis went along and agreed to this agreement until this was over, because that's been a big, huge.
that could it couldn't.
I mean,
you're gonna have a problem pulling. They're doing jury selection, and this comes out right then, and so I
would've
think it's
waited.
gonna influence the jury.
you know, if you go back to the OJ trial, he was innocent in the criminal case, and but they used a lot of those things in the civil case, and I guess it's the format's a little bit different, but at any rate, I got my second vaccine, as I mentioned before, and I'm not. Well, it looks like anybody that's going to want a vaccine can get one. Whether you want one or not, that's up to you. It's your personal choice.
They just opened up that big thing, the old Shopko building.
You know, that's a good use for that, to be honest with you. And I think
Temporarily, at least. So
Well, I don't know who owns it, but the city probably gave them a slide on the taxes.
the city probably bought it.
They could have done that too.
That's what I'm thinking. City or the county bought that place. So
And
I'm guessing the county because our weekend at Tony Evers was down there with Chrysler, so I think that's
And
Kenosha
Randy.
County.
Yeah.
So
well, that's still a good use for property instead of sending everybody down to the
well, they closed the one at the job center.
job center. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they closed that.
Okay. How long is this?
This replaces the one at the job center.
Okay, and it's just going to go on for how long? I don't know.
Well, until they forever, if you want the city council's opinion on it. So
Oh yeah, that thing with Alderman Seal and that mask thing. You know, everybody's about had it. And you know what? If you don't want to, I haven't seen anybody ever charged for it, and I've been in a lot of places. I also read where if you, like when I got my second vaccine, I get this little card to keep in my wallet. So if I'm going someplace, I guess by this standards, I don't have to.
you must wear the mask,
Really?
even if you're vaccinated. Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
okay.
they're saying. So,
Well, I'm hoping they get to a point,
which is
pretty
stupid.
pretty
the whole
close
thing
to-
has been stupid.
okay, pretty close to, let's say, Memorial Day, and if you got the king, you don't have to wear it. And, you know, it's interesting because baseball's coming up, and I guess it's not Miller Park, it's American Family.
American Family,
That
whatever.
they're going to start with 25% capacity, and then increase it as you go. And I've seen some. Well, I was watching the spring training game yesterday with the Cubs and the Brewers, and they got people pretty well distance. And you know the money that these guys are getting, the millions of dollars, they need fans in their parks to meet these salaries because they took a tremendous beating last year in revenue. So
Well, the government doesn't care. They want everybody to be bankrupt and subject to them doling out their gruel.
well, they
to them.
don't realize that some of these owners like Mark Cuban. Oh, he owns the Mavericks.
Anastasio?
No.
Oh, Mark Cuban.
Cuban. He's one of the most wealthy guys, and he owned the Dallas Mavericks, right? Mm-hmm. Well, some of those guys donate to politicians. So, if you want to run the well dry.
Yeah, and then the politicians take our tax dollars and donate it back to him.
Yeah,
so
right.
That's how that works.
What did I see? This was interesting. Trump is still a big force in the Republican Party. And he's telling people, if you want to donate, just send it to me, meaning him, directly, and I'll dole it out to the candidates he wants to support, along the way. So.
Yeah, good. Well, I think he started a PAC.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yep. He started a political action committee, and then they'll go through that. So, not him personally. He's not. You can't. Come on, Scott. You're a tax accountant. You can't do that. So, why should know?
Well, it's a gray area. Yeah. Anyway, so those that I had emails and texts already this morning. People got their first their stimulus.
The second
check.
one that they just approved. So.
Yeah, and I was shocked because a year ago the Department of Treasury, IRS, shut down for a couple months to get these checks out, and that was my worst fear. And all of a sudden, they must have the system all set, and you push the button, and these were all direct deposits. And
yours is coming in the form of a Boathouse gift card, isn't it? So,
yeah,
which will be confiscated to pay off your bar tab.
Yeah. You're going to get it in either direct deposit, a paper check, or some of these debit cards.
Yep.
Now, I was online with the IRS earlier, and their get my payment is not there yet. They said by Monday, and it'll be updated daily. So at least the people in this area, instead of sending correspondence and things out to Fresno, California, which for the last 8 years made no sense, they went back to Kansas City. And I think what happened, the IRS downsized, and I think they even closed the Kansas City office. And so now they're back up and running, and we'll see how this. Yes?
We have a caller, Scott.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Kenosha
Kenosha today.
Dennis,
How you guys doing?
we're wonderful. How are you?
All right.
Tell Mickey happy St. Patrick's Day.
It's coming up.
I
next.
will, but he's got to lay low from Irish Ruth, I'll tell you that.
I'm not worried about Irish Ruth anymore. Did you hear my announcement earlier?
Yeah, you're going to direct her to call other shows now.
Yeah. Here's the number. 262-694-1050. Jeez, I remember that after all this time.
Hey, you were talking about COVID. Did you hear what happened at the president's briefing the other day?
No. Go ahead.
President Biden was getting briefed on the amount of people in various countries of the world that had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to South America, and they told them that only three Brazilian people in South America had the COVID disease, and
Because the rest have all come to America.
He fainted. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, he fainted after they told him that, and they called the doctor, but before the doctor got there, he revived and sat back up in a chair, and they said, "Mr. President, are you all right?" And his first words were, "How much is a Brazilian?"
I'm going to miss you, Dennis.
I'll miss you guys, too.
Why don't you plan on coming in on the 10th? We'll sit down and talk a little bit.
Well, down at the boathouse?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's open to the public, and we're going to go from 10 to at least 12 and have pizzas like we did on my birthday. And
it's your farewell tour.
That's it.
That's it. Speaking of farewell tours.
You're not going to do one of these things where you retire and come back again about 3 or 4 times, are you?
No, not unless somebody pays me $100,000. Then I got to rethink that.
He's not joining the Eagles.
Or the Army. No, yeah.
I'll plan on that. That's the 6th, you said?
No, the actual date's the 6th, but the Saturday, the April 10th.
10th is the...
And we're
Saturday the 10th, okay.
Down there from at least 10 to 12. And I know my daughters want to have some stories to tell, and my grandkids. And
yeah, I wouldn't miss it. I've been we must know each other now for about 7 years, maybe 6, 7 years, something like that.
Hey,
this is 6, 7 years that I've been doing the show. So.
Hey, Dennis, there's a special guest there's a special guest that I want to introduce you to.
Okay.
Pat Garrett. I still remember, this was 2 summers ago on the 4th of July parade, standing in the parking lot at Sherland. You went up to him and said, "Hey, did you ever meet this Pat Garrett guy?" Well, you know.
And he goes, "I'm Pat Garrett."
So, yeah, we're going to
I
have...
never heard his band. I heard they're pretty good, though.
Well, he plays in a couple... Yeah,
he's got several incarnations of bands, so with different people.
And he does his own open mic at on some weeks at Thursdays at Union Park.
Union Park, Thursday nights. All original
Thursday
music,
night.
too.
Okay, I'll have to check that out one time, too.
All original music, no covers. So
I remember, I'll tell this again on the 10th, but when I was at a festival, and this guy comes up to me, who I only knew by, I didn't even know his name. He says, "You're always looking for new guests." And he says, "Take this guy named the Lonesome Dove." That's what he was going by at the time. So I says, "Okay, send him over. I'll take him sight unseen." So he comes over, and he was doing some of these songs that were, kind of had a country western theme. And I introduced him as the Lonesome Dove, and unbeknownst to me at the time, that first time he met, I didn't know he had been in the guest of the bed and breakfast, the Steel Bar Hotel or whatever they call it. So he had a lot of time, and they were putting a trolley on, and he did some songs about that. We are going to sing. I talked to him. We'll never smoke weed on the trolley again. So he's bringing his guitar. So I get a call the next day from a probation officer, and says, "What are you trying to pull?" This is probation. I didn't know he was in jail or on probation. His real name is actually Pat Anderson, and he went by Pat Garrett and then the Lonesome Dove. And I explained this to her. I actually had to send her something in writing to verify that I wasn't trying to pull a fast one. I'm using an alias for a guy who was he wasn't a felon. But
you have to explain his career in the student government at Gateway
Oh, yeah,
College.
I'll let him. I forgot about that. See, this is what we're going to do. Briefly, real quick, he was on the Huber Law so that he could go to Gateway and he get out of jail and come back at night. They elected him to vice president of the student council.
Huber Law, is that anything like Gruber Law?
Yeah. Yeah. One call, that's
You
all.
won in a landslide. Okay.
And the other thing we were talking about is apparently Summers is still going to have a parade, and we want to get into one farewell tour down Highway E one more time.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay. I don't know if we're going to hand out flags or anything, but
we're going to throw rock-hard Tootsie Rolls at all the
one last time.
bags of gravel. Like, that's what I thought.
See how many snot-nosed little kids we can take out one last time.
Yeah, I'll just queue up a copy of Bob Hope's Thanks for the Memories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we got a lot of things that we'll talk about, and hopefully you and the missus can make it, and then we have a little reception afterwards, and it should be a lot of fun.
Well, I guess since you're not going to be as busy anymore with a lot more time on your hands, I'll have to buy a lot more vodka and chips, I guess.
Yeah.
No, he's going to spend the summer enlarging the moat around Barter Manor, so in preparation for Halloween.
Yeah. Looks like I'm going to stay here for the duration, whatever the duration may be. But it's things like this, and I forget some of these stories about the Pat. What's the vice president of the student council got elected when he was currently on a Huber Law. And I don't know what courses he was taking at Gateway. I'll have to direct that to him, but should be a lot of fun. And
well, what the heck? Look at the My Pillow guy. How his life rebounded.
Mm-hmm.
What was he in jail?
Yeah, he was a crack addict.
Oh, really?
Yep. He's got a book out, From Crack Addict to CEO. That's what it was
Is that
called.
right?
So, yep.
Well, he made a lot of money selling a dopey little pillow. Of course, I shouldn't call it a dopey little pillow. We'll get taken off the air again next week.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
sorry for
they'll
bringing
keep
that
you
up.
on for that.
They
hate him.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
They'll replay this. It's awesome. That's what happened. We got taken off the air 2 weeks ago.
Oh, God.
We don't know exactly because they never gave me a reason to speculation. And we're going to blame it all on you.
Well, I think that's why you're retiring. I think probably anything anyone says, you could be off the air every week, probably.
Yeah.
If your screen goes blank right now, you know what happened. We pissed somebody off.
Well, we're proud of it, too. So well, I can see it. We're still on the air, so I'm looking at the...
Yeah.
You're part of the cancel culture. You're canceling yourself.
That's right.
You know, I can just see I get an email from YouTube. I hear you're retiring. Can you speed this up by a couple of weeks? I should probably get myself a girlfriend and settle down and have some kids.
Oh, man.
Speaking of girlfriends.
Uh-oh. Hang on, Dennis.
Uh-oh.
Good morning, Shirley.
Good morning, Scott and Elmo.
Yes. And don't.
Hi.
Hi.
Dennis is
Good morning, weather girl.
Yeah. Oh, and Dennis, you're there. Hi, Dennis. Hi. How you
Nancy
doing?
says,
Oh, hi, Nancy. Love you.
Oh,
Hi.
God, I'm going to miss
she
it.
loves you. She loves you, too.
It's my
Ah,
daughter.
that's great.
I love you. Yeah, Shirley.
Okay, it's time.
Yeah.
Hang on.
It's time for the menage a trois here. Okay, we got
Hang on.
Gunga.
Is it
Nancy,
Gunga?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey.
Gunga.
Is that the mall rat along with my patrol?
Yeah, that's me.
Hi, Gunga.
Good morning, Shirley.
Hi, how are you?
I'm miserable without you.
Oh, me too.
Yes, I spent the afternoon with Mr. Barter and Mr. Elmo yesterday.
Oh, and you're awake. And you're awake. You're awake this early?
Yes, and I question my sanity.
Hey, now, you guys are going to miss me come after April 10th, right?
Are you really going to call it quits?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't
And you're-
smile without you.
Yeah, me neither. You're so good at it. Both
guys
of
will have to
together. You
contact
make a
each other
good
directly.
team.
Well, anyway, Gunga's going to be a guest. Hopefully he can get off of work, or we'll send him a note, or we'll just kidnap him. And it's going to
There
be
you
from
go.
10 to 12 on Saturday the 10th at the Boathouse, and it's going to be a reception afterwards, so hopefully you can make it.
Like a wedding reception?
Commando?
It's not a wedding reception.
You're going to wear a bridesmaid's dress?
Yeah.
something a little off-white and off the shoulder, you know what I mean?
At the boathouse?
At the Boathouse, April 10th.
I don't know if I can make it or not, but
I know you probably
Shirley,
have to
what are you going to be doing with your Saturday mornings now?
rearrange your sock drawer.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
Making more pies.
She'll be recovering from her wild nights with you, Gunga.
Yeah, right.
Hey, by the way, I heard on the radio this morning that tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow, is National Pie Day.
Yep.
It is.
Oh.
Really?
314.
Yep, 3/14 tomorrow
3.14.
is National Pie Day. So
Pie Day?
go ahead, Shirley.
National Pie Day?
National
Wow.
Pie Day.
How about St. Patrick's Day? Do you celebrate that?
No,
Is it? It's
No.
Thursday, isn't it? What's the 17th?
Wednesday.
A Wednesday. You know what?
Wednesday,
Last year,
uh-huh.
you know, the area pipes and drums that they put on, they'd go off on St. Patrick's Day and on Saturday, and they'd get in the bus and tour bus and go around and play. I understand, even though their picture was in the news yesterday, that they are not doing that this year because of the social distancing. But
No, they're not going as a group, but they have a thing where you can hire a guy to come in and play the bagpipe solo. So
okay. Well, that's still good because.
that's it. So, yes, I talked to a local barkeep
Oh, is that what they're going to do? Well, that's
yesterday. So
That's good.
Yep.
No, they could have easily. The last time I was at this, it was at TG's, and it was so crowded. They played out in the parking lot, and everybody went out there. So if you can get a nice day like today, it's okay. So
Could be snowing too. You never know.
well,
Well, I hope they don't do to pies what they did to Dr. Seuss on National Dr. Seuss Day.
yeah. Ding. See, I don't feel so bad.
How can you cancel a math? Oh no, they're already doing that. You can cancel a mathematical formula. Okay, so let's. Math is racist. Okay, so if you think 2 + 2 = 5 is good, that's fine with them. So
Hey, Gunga, on the 10th, do you want me to reserve some parking for Clyde the camel?
No, I'm going to be celebrating I Got Late Day.
Well, how many? That's at least several times a month, isn't it?
Whether he needs it or not, a year. You guys are married. You know what I'm talking about.
Once a year, whether I want it or not.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, my claim to fame is once a month on a Saturday at 10 o'clock, if I was good. And geez, I didn't even bother anymore.
If you got enough chips and vodka, that's.
Yeah, right. I started.
Yeah, I got enough. I got enough.
And Elmo, you're going to have a show?
Yeah, I'm still.
You're gonna.
It's still in the works. I'm going to take the summer off. You know, I've been doing this for 6 years or more. I've been a co-host here, so
Pretty close.
it's kind of a grueling schedule, you know, to do that. What do? We usually only take like 2 weeks off a year back in the radio days. And
We
stuff
would
like
do
that.
50 shows.
50 shows a year.
Times
so-
25 is about
But
1,200.
I'm working on a new concept for something, so I'm going to take the summer off and work on that. I've already talked to a few people with some ideas about that, so we'll see what happens.
So Gunga, if he
Will
needs
it be online? Will it be online? You like your an hour?
Yeah, it'll be a streaming show, and maybe I'm going to talk to Jason at Channel 14 to see if we can get on there too.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Shirley, I got an email from Jason yesterday, late in the afternoon. He says Channel 14 should be up online in a couple of weeks. Good. I'll be gone for a couple of weeks. What timing? I think there's a damn conspiracy out there, and they did this just to piss me off.
Yep.
Hey, Gunga, if Elmo needs a pervert for an interview, you're the guy, right? You're the go-to guy?
Well, right behind you in case you can't make it.
What makes you think I'm a pervert?
Sure. Yesterday's conversation was enough proof for me.
Well, you kept rubbing my shoulder, and I get away from me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Scott's going to be moving
Sure,
too.
you don't like it.
He's moving to pervert world, so
Yeah.
that's the.
I think, did I tell you, Gunga, yesterday I was thinking of settling down, getting married, and have a bunch of kids?
Did I
Who are you,
did I tell you you're losing it?
I am what they
Who
call,
do you think you are, Anthony Quinn?
I am what they call and refer to as very safe sex. So I got that going for me.
That's true, because you had your shot now, too.
Yeah.
Did
Oh,
some woman
you had your shots?
I had both of them.
rabies and
Yeah, I
distemper?
did too. My last one on Monday.
What were you going to say, Elmo?
I said rabies and distemper.
And
He's
a
had both
handful
in
of
shots.
KY.
What'd you say?
I don't think I want to hear it.
The text meant to you that you had a handful of KY.
No comment.
I kind of wonder why we get taken off the air. But, those are just...
Oh, wow.
Scott, now you're going to be on for 3 more weeks, right?
Right. There's 3
4 more, actually.
Actually, yeah, 4 more.
weeks. Yeah.
The 10th is the
4
end
more?
one.
4 shows after this.
We got 2 Saturdays left in March. The day before Easter, which I think is the 3rd of
The
April.
3rd, and then-
the following is
Right.
the 10th. That's it.
That's it.
Well, I'm going to miss you.
Oh, I'm going to miss you too, Shirley.
See, now,
There's plenty of other shows to call.
yeah. You want Elmo's number? I'll give it to you now.
oh, God, no.
Yeah, I got a few more people to call. Yeah.
Well,
Too bad you can't get on a show. That you can't have your own show.
No, that would be too much. That's too much pressure to keep up with Mr. Barter's 25 years of great radio greatness.
That's true.
Shirley,
Well, you could go on with Elmo. Go on with Elmo.
Oh, we discussed that yesterday.
Did you really?
Yep.
Do you realize between Lou Regani, Scott, and Elmo, you've got Kenosha yesterday, Kenosha today, and Kenosha tomorrow covered?
That's a great.
yeah, boy.
That deserves a ding. Okay.
Dennis, here's something else. You really come up with it.
Shirley, do you have any weather for us this morning?
Yes, I do.
Dennis
Yeah.
has been waiting for
Where's my picture? Are you ready?
We're ready. Are you ready, Dennis?
Put your zipper up.
sunny to partly cloudy today. It's nice out. Rather cloudy,
Flower,
breezy,
Shirley,
and
flower.
Rhonda, let the
cooler
lady talk.
tomorrow.
Go ahead, Shirley.
Wind subsiding and cooler on Monday. Tuesday, partly cloudy and sunshine. And Wednesday, increasing clouds. How's that?
Okay. All right, we got to hang on, everybody. We're going to take another call. See who joins us here.
Good morning, you're in Kenosha
So the
today.
deep state finally got to you, huh, Scott?
The what?
The deep state finally got to you.
Yeah, right.
Also you.
Yeah,
They
well,
put the photographs of you, those illicit photographs in front of you and said, adios with the show. Or else we're exposing you, right?
well, it was either that or the witness protection program, so I had a choice there. So
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Shirley. How are you?
All right, how are you?
Fundamentally average.
fundamental.
Uh-huh.
Paul's got that weekly question for you, Shirley.
Yeah, Shirley. How's that governor working out for you? I can't take apparently.
Yeah, right. No comment.
Hey, he was in Kenosha this week.
Yeah, he was in Kenosha.
Yeah. Hey,
In Kenosha.
Yeah. Go ahead, Paul.
Scott,
Yes.
on the big final on April 10th, are you going to do a flyby with the ultralight?
I'm going to try to keep my fly closed that day. But if,
Right down, right down the old Lake Michigan shoreline there, just like Bob
Hey.
Collins.
yeah, well,
Oh no, not just like Bob Collins. No.
yeah.
Did I say that? I tell was not.
That didn't turn out so well.
Hey, Paul, if you can make it, come on down and join the fun, and we're going to have some pizzas afterwards, and we're going to go from 10 to.
I will see if I can. I'm sure you have your reasons, but I'll miss you for sure.
Well, I can tell you my reasons.
He's
25
old and decrepit. That's the reason.
25 years is enough. I went 24 and a half longer than I ever thought I wanted to. So, you get to a point, I'm 71, I still have my good health, somewhat. It's time to do something else. Turn the page and look.
And you look good yet, Scott. You look very good.
Scott, I'm sure that the deep state has told you to say that, and that's fine.
I read it right there like they wrote it for me.
Actually, I know. He's planning a third run for the mayor of Kenosha. That's why he's stepping down here. So
Hey, can't you imagine that at Kenosha News? 3-time failed mayoral candidate.
Well,
least they have
when
something to
Scott
print.
heard the news that J-Lo and Alex Rodriguez broke up, he realized that nothing lasts forever.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
They broke up. Were they married? Or
No, they were engaged
No.
for 4 years. They were engaged.
well, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, they're getting
right.
divorced. So what the heck? So,
Yeah.
well,
Nothing
explains it.
lasts forever.
Las
That
Vegas
explains
wedding,
it.
Mexican divorce.
That explains it. You're going to be making booty calls to J-Lo and
Kardashian.
Kardashian.
hold that
That's
thought.
what you're going to be.
Hold that thought, Dennis. No, I'm right up there.
Mr. Barger, I have a suggestion.
Okay.
Make sure you're up on all your shots if you're dating those two.
Well, I remember. I think I told this before. One of my clients called me and says, "Do you got the COVID?" And I says, "No, I got VD." And he says, "I look on the bright side. They got a cure for that."
Yeah, that's
So-
it.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, God.
Dennis, have you got your shots?
I'm undecided right now. I haven't done anything yet.
Oh. Yeah, I got both of mine.
I'm waiting to see
You're
what
still
happens
alive.
with Scott before I decide to do anything.
I'm going to see if I can make it till April 10th.
Yeah.
Shirley, may I
Yes.
ask you with the shots? First of all, I'm glad it went well for you.
Uh-huh.
Any side effects or anything like that? How did it all go? How was the whole experience?
was really good. I only had a sore arm, really sore. I couldn't sleep one night, but I just took a couple, like they said, take a couple Tylenols, and the next day it was a lot better. But no, I was lucky. My husband and I, we didn't have any side effects. No, not.
Well, that was next question. And Gary got him, and he's doing well too.
Yeah.
You know, Paul,
Actually, I'm very glad to hear that.
I had my second shot a week ago Thursday, and when I got to Saturday, I was dizzy, and I kind of lost my taste buds for a little bit. I couldn't. That's why I couldn't do a show last week. So,
Really?
but I'm back. I'm not
Well,
dizzy
you never
anymore.
had any
Just,
taste anyway. And quite frankly, Mr. Barter, at this point, like, who really gives a shit what you think?
See how they spend upon you like vultures when you call it quits.
my God, you just lob them up and put them on a tee. I mean, come on.
You know,
Right.
no one has ever cared what he thinks, so that's nothing new about
right.
that.
By the way, Paul, congratulations for your Racine St. Catherine's state champions.
Oh, they were
Yeah.
basketball. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'll have to tweak Lenny on that then.
Champions of what?
You know, if I recall, last year they were like 22-0, and then they cut off the tournament because of the COVID, and they never got a chance to play. So
You're right.
I think
You're right.
basketball, high school basketball, St. Catherine's.
You're exactly right.
Anybody want to make a
I
prediction?
would.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I went to Horlick, and a couple years after I graduated, they had incredible talent. Robert Barnes, Barry Hill,
Oh, yeah.
and all these guys, and they should have probably been like 2-time state champions, but they would always get upset by a team of not as athletic but very disciplined white kids.
No, you're absolutely, Paul. You bring out a great point. Those guys, I remember those years, and they were great individual talents. But when they came up against well, I'm not playing a race car, but a more disciplined team, yeah, they took them right out of the equation.
Just really good fundamentally pass the ball 6 times before they take a shot.
Sure.
Kind of like the whole Hoosiers thing, you know?
Yeah,
And they
exactly.
would lose.
Coaching.
They got upset every time they had all this incredible talent, you know?
All coaching.
And it was always so tragic to see. And I think at the same time, too, it was like 85. That was, I think, the last time St. Cat's in the private schools won the basketball championship for the state. So, you know,
Yep.
no,
Well,
Scott, I had asked this question of some other people last night. I kind of wanted your take on it. What do you think, like, Kenosha city officials should be doing right now to, prevent or to minimize anything that might happen going forward with racial tension in the city?
Well, they claim that they've had these 3 or 4 listening sessions, and I follow it in the paper, but I'm not sure if they're just going through the motions to please somebody.
That's about
I
it.
think I don't see anything really changing, and they've had at least 3 of them with community, what they call stakeholders. So they're going through what I refer to as the dog and pony show, but I haven't seen anybody implement, here's what we're going to do as a change, here's, things of that nature. So until they make a proposal, I mean, it'll be going on a year. this summer.
Nothing is going to change. You can have all these sessions.
Yeah.
It's just a show, and
I think the only thing that's probably going to change is the sheriff's department. Maybe the police officers will get body cameras, and if that's a change, you know what? I think in the Jacob Blake case, if they would have had body cameras, it would have showed a whole different page of what the public was looking at. But I don't see anything, changing if they want to hiring practices. Everybody, and in fact, it was just
all it is, Scott. You're familiar with this. So when you sit there and your wife is blabbing away at you, and you sit there and go, "Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Yes, dear." That's all these words.
Yeah.
So these people get up and talk, and the city says, "Yes."
Hey,
dear.
Paul, I
Yes,
know
dear."
that Racine is interviewing, I think they're down to 2 finalists for police chief. I don't know anything about these guys. Do you?
No, actually, I don't. I haven't paid that close attention to it, but You know, I don't know if it matters though, right, Scott?
It shouldn't.
No.
But Art Howe, the former chief, he was an African American, right?
And a decent person too,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Well, good. But I hope whoever they select the best qualified candidate and not base it on the old
We got that coming up in
affirmative
Kenosha.
action.
We
thing.
got that coming up in Kenosha too. Miss Guinness, retired. So
Yeah.
we've got an interim chief right now. They got a nationwide search out for replacement.
And I think the fire chief's going to probably retire. Take the best qualified candidate and don't look at the other stuff. That's my twist on it. And we'll see who is going to be named the police chief in Racine. And I think they're going to announce that, at least their recommendation to the Police and Fire Commission probably in another week. But they're down to that. So, you know, maybe back in the days when they had affirmative action, and I got caught in reverse discrimination in the 70s, back with Sears, when affirmative action said if you had 6% minorities, you had to employ 6% accordingly. And
community.
right about the late 70s, there was a guy in California that won a huge lawsuit on reverse discrimination. And I got caught into that. That's why I left that and went to seek my fortune. And here I am.
Never look back.
Never looked back. But, you know, and
I'm going to have to cut out, guys.
Okay,
I hope to
yeah.
talk to you next week.
No.
Go ahead and call your other dopey
Shirley,
shows.
you
That's all
have
right.
to stay.
Bye, Shirley.
All right, Shirley, take it easy.
Yeah, bye. Bye, Ganga.
Adios.
Adios. Love you all. Hope to talk to you next week. Yeah, I'll
I
miss you
remember
Gotta
guys.
that.
protect the product, right?
Huh?
Ryan, how did you know?
Okay,
Yeah.
Shirley, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I remember
Bye-bye.
when Brother
Bye-bye.
Wright
Hope to
Okay,
talk
Shirley,
to you next
go.
week. Bye.
Bye. Come on, you're limited to one bye at a time.
Bye-bye.
Let's cut her off.
Cut her first hang up. It's annoying. Anyway, this is a true story. I sat in a couple meetings with Olin Arrington and Brother Wright, and there was a guy coming down from Madison, and they were complaining that the Kenosha Fire Department didn't have enough minorities, and the guys, they brought in all the paperwork and said they're not passed, they can't get to the 70%, and he says, well, lower it to 65. I said, now you're dumbing down.
That's
Kind of
right.
I
Yep.
said, John, you don't want that. You want to, so if you want calling a fire department to, save your house from burning down, you want somebody qualified, not because he's there because of his race. So that kind of went by the wayside, but they were making that claim. And don't get me wrong, both of those gentlemen did excellent for the minority community and the black community in this town over the years. They did. So anyway, hey, you guys want to hear a top 10?
Oh, here we go.
Yes, yes.
Written in our home office here in the confines of Barter Manor, this week's top 10 thought-provoking category. The top 10 signs spring is finally here in Kenosha. Number 10. Trolley drivers breaking out their summer thongs. Number 9. Gunga replacing Kentucky jelly with sunblock. Number 8. First robins of spring dipping their worms in COVID-19 vaccine. Number 7. Shirley showed up with the pitchers and catchers. Number 6. Snowplow drivers testing positive for VD. Number 5. Satellite photos show Uncle Scotty eating yellow snow. Number 4. Clyde the camel's humps are starting to molt. Number 3. Mall rats are relocating to Mars. Number 2. Burr Rabbit living in the bushes at Barter Manor is suddenly very horny. And the number 1 sign that spring is finally here in Kenosha. Alderman Snowflake from the 17th District can't seem to find his Doppler. He's had his Doppler in a long time. I'm gonna miss taking shots at these guys, but I don't think they're gonna be giving me a plaque anytime soon. So I got 4 more weeks, and I'll have full.
The term worm dipping is racist,
What'd you say?
I said the term worm dipping is racist.
Worm skipping?
Worm dipping.
Worm dipping?
You said worm dipping.
Yeah. How can that be racist?
Gunga?
Figure it out, big boy.
I was told there wasn't going to be a lot of tough questions here this morning. See, now after April 10th, my mind can go blank and be a blur
Blank and a blur right now. So
for the rest of my life.
Maybe you should run for president. So,
Oh, yeah. Well, boys,
Good.
you guys got anything else?
Well,
Did you hear about that suburb? I don't know if it was somewhere near Brookfield where the schools were asking the kids in grade school or high school about
Yeah.
their sexual habits.
right.
Oh, is this what, if they have sex and if they're drinking or smoking
Yeah,
weed or what?
yeah.
Yeah.
I-
With multiple people at the same time. Okay, that was in there, and okay, that's
Now, see, I heard about it, but here's the difference from 67 to when? 77?
76.
76. In my case, nada. But in his case, 100% participation. Just that little bit of time in there. So
That's it.
whatever happened to that? Why, they got in trouble for even posing that survey, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Well, I think it was some teacher that's a pervert that put it out to, get his jollies out of the thing. It was not part of the approved curriculum, and the principal and the superintendent has apologized for it, and it said it never should have been said.
Well, there's HIPAA laws too, isn't that kind of fall into that category?
Well, I don't know about HIPAA's with doctors. So,
Well, it's medical, and
Yeah, right.
so, but
Yeah, I think this is just some pervert out there trying to get his.
And
get his
Scott,
jollies.
is there any truth to the rumor that you're getting phone numbers from Governor Cuomo from his old phone book?
where do you think he got them from? I thought that meant everything he knows.
Governor Nipple Rings? What the heck?
Yeah. So,
There's an opening. There's an opening for you to run for governor right there.
Yeah.
yeah. Don't I have to be a member? A resident? I think he's not going to resign, but I do find it kind of odd that all of a sudden, all these years, people are coming out of the.
It hasn't been all these years. It's been in the last couple of years.
Oh, well.
So some are.
Well, maybe he can be on that show with his brother.
That's on CNN, isn't it?
Fredo.
Yeah.
Fredo. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Don't say any more. You want to be on next week, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, we'll be on next week.
exactly.
The question, Dennis, is will this thing be on by the end of the day? Oops, excuse me.
Yeah, right.
Next week we start anew. It's like, we clean the slate and we start.
Yeah.
But we'll see how long this one lasts. The last 2 weeks ago only lasted till
Okay.
8:30.
Hey,
And it looks
Scott,
like
let me ask you,
Go ahead, Paul.
I was going to say, Scott, let me ask you this. Based on your experience in this medium, what would be advice you would give to somebody if they wanted to do something like this?
Don't do it.
No. Well, yeah. Are you
Well,
nuts?
that might that's a good answer, but
Well, I think, Paul, in all seriousness, the key is you have to continually do it. You can't just do one a month, because you don't attract an audience. Whereas back in the television days, we did one every Wednesday and it got replayed and developed a following, cult-like, And the key was when we started WLIP, we did 1 hour. Next year, then they wanted 2 hours plus a replay. And then we got to here, and you have to acquire an audience if you want to make any money. I made some money back some years ago, but after COVID, our plan was to take this on the road, and that never worked because businesses didn't have the money. I mean, we had the equipment to do this, but people didn't have the money. They were closed, and then the social distancing. So I still think what I've learned in this last year that live streaming is the wave of the future, and AM radio is.
If you listen to any, I listen to a lot of AM radio and a lot of different stations. It's becoming, they're dumping all the local programming and going to nationally syndicated shows. They're just buying
There you
the
go.
shows. They don't have,
Right.
They may have 1 or 2 guys that are local, with the exception of a few stations. But then they just go to, to syndicated broadcasting and just get the feed and feed it on through. That's it.
Paul, you look at all the Fox, CNN, MSNBC, all through the day, and what are they doing? They used to have, they still have studios, but they don't have their people in there. They're doing what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And all their interviews are done with somebody's in somebody's kitchen, somebody's dining room, or whatever.
Right.
And I think that opened up a whole new medium for this kind of venue.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you're not just retiring to go with the EIB network and take Maharashi's place?
You caught me, huh?
Talent on loan from Satan.
You know what? There seems to be
What?
there seems to be an obnoxious amount of podcast. You know, I listen to some stations that promote their podcast,
Yep.
and it's
All
like
the time.
they've got a bloody podcast for every damn thing.
That's right.
You know, and they'll try to make it like it's really interesting, and I hear them talk, and it's like, can you imagine how boring this must be? I mean, I mean, we're going to talk about combs. If I have to hear one more thing about the Zodiac killer, I mean, that's like 50 years ago, but everybody like wants to do a podcast of the Zodiac,
Yeah.
and like tie themselves to the Zodiac. I don't get it.
You gotta have interesting topics. And back in the early days, we invited all the nonprofits to promote their festivals or whatever they had going. And then we kind of made it entertaining. And I'll tell you right now, if you don't make it somewhat amusing, I mean, we did our thing of Stump the Chumps and the Barn Act thing and all this other craziness. And somebody said, "Oh, you're just being a Johnny Carson." I go, "What's wrong with that? He was on 30 years. He made a ton of money."
Yeah.
So,
Now, Paul, if you really want to hear a good podcast, you can go to ktownconnects.com and hear me and Scott being interviewed on that show, which we did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we got free pizza, too. But
I'll listen to that. There is a guy that's on YouTube who's really an interesting guy. The name of his thing is, and I don't want to promote other things here, but Mysterious WV. It's Mysterious West Virginia. This guy his name is Sean McCracken, and I don't know if that's his true name or whatever, but he does an outstanding job. He's like a throwback to the 70s, the clothes he wears, but his style, his cadence, his delivery is really interesting, and he has very interesting. It's all about unsolved murders and stuff like that. I find the guy
sounds like Lou
fascinating.
Ragani.
Really,
Hey,
Yeah.
one more thing, then I got to go. When Elmo and I went to this podcast, it was over at a local pizza place, and I had told him right out, in 25 years, I had never been interviewed. The only person that ever interviewed me was a lawyer at a deposition. Other than that, I was kind of flattered. But these guys, they had done, 30 shows maybe?
yeah, they got tons of them up there. So
I was impressed with their,
they did a very good job of it.
I was really impressed. And they had their little commercials, and they worked well together. And so
Keep things moving.
Yeah.
That's it. Yep.
But the key is you got to make it interesting. You can't.
It's all about content.
Yeah, and if you start going into like the Zodiac, who cares about the Zodiac? I mean, but
Hey, can I ask you guys one last quick question?
sure, go ahead.
Yep.
What do you think the odds are of live outdoor entertainment returning to Kenosha this year?
I think pretty good.
Yep.
Good.
Some
Good.
of the church festivals start. Mount Carmel starts, I think, the second week in July, and then they go beyond that. And I think by then, a whole lot of our county will be vaccinated. They may have some masks and some social distancing, but I think they're going to go on because the churches, they need that revenue. They took a bath, in the holy water last year.
How about Tribute Island?
Well, you have to call. That's usually in August. I don't know what Frank's going to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard, but I think they're all waiting to see when they. Now, to do something like Tribute Island, they got to start booking those bands now.
They should have been booking them a year ago.
Yeah.
Hey, one last thing, and then I got to go. Elmo went down to Tribute Island. It wasn't last year, the year before, and he's watching.
I saw Dennis down there.
Oh,
Yeah,
so he's watching one band on
Yeah.
one stage that was doing some, and then he goes to the other end of the park. Same guys, just changed clothes.
Yeah.
And it was a musical company that was doing all these things. So what are you going to do? Anyway, gentlemen, I got to run. We will be back next week and beyond for a while.
see y'all.
All right, Paul. Dennis.
Bye-bye. All I can say is, what a legacy.
And Elmo, that's going to wrap it up for the March 13th edition of the Kenosha Today Saturday Morning Breakfast Club. We want to thank our sponsors, Barter's Financial Planning Services, Kenosha for Open Honest Government, Charlie B's Kids for Cancer Treatment Foundation. We have been broadcasting this morning from the Barter Manor Studio, located on the corner of Happy and What Went Wrong. I also invite you to join us on Facebook. And just a reminder that in addition to watching our replays on YouTube, You can still watch us on Spectrum's Channel 14, which is coming up pretty quick here, maybe 2 more weeks. Tuesdays at 7, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And so for Elmo and myself, until we meet again, we thank you for the privilege of your time. Please take care of yourself and each other. I'm Scotty Barter, and have a very safe and pleasant weekend.
Written by our piano player, Mr. Elmo the Insane.
Well, I'm not a crook.